Welcome you to the Be Encouraged Show, where each week we reach an audience of 45,000 potential listeners
and growing
across our social platforms and guest networks. Our mission is simple yet profound: to spread hope and encouragement, connecting our audience with stories that uplift and inspire.
So whether you're a business owner looking to expand your reach or someone eager to share your journey of impact, our platform is designed to highlight the positive differences we can all make.
Getting involved with our show is easy and rewarding. First, you get to be a guest on this show. This is a fantastic opportunity for brand recognition as you share your story with our engaged listeners.
And Frank and I are now offering Q&A Mastermind monthly sessions. And these are not just informative experiences, but we actually help with your business on strategic insights and provide a supportive group setting.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we? And if you're looking to drive targeted lead generation, consider sponsoring our show. We offer multiple tiers and customizable options to fit your marketing needs perfectly.
We have had over 350 guests, and they have been able to brand themselves and share all the goodness that they are doing here in community.
And it's not just about numbers. Our approach opens up a space for vulnerability, helping our guests genuinely connect with audiences. This authentic interaction is a powerful catalyst for community and business growth. Take, for example, we have partners here at Be Encouraged, and since getting involved with our platform, they've seen a staggering 900% growth in just 7 months here in the Springs.
So if you're ready to make a significant impact, join us today at beencouraged.net.
And let's make the world a more hopeful and connected place, one story at a time.
We are currently at Cole Harbor, our studio sponsor, right?
So beautiful.
Oh, what a wonderful place. We get such great feedback about them and what they're doing. What's so great about Cole Harbor?
Yes. So the owner, Jeremiah Callahan's just phenomenal. His attention to detail from the sound, from the aesthetics, he even got me a little microphone holder for our live Instagrams, Frank. I mean, just the attention to detail to service the business owners here who work out of here is phenomenal.
And what you always feel welcomed here. You always feel a part of this community. It's the most welcoming place that I've ever engaged. And we have some amazing people that work out of here as well.
We do. And they actually have a greeting host, which is incredible during their peak hours.
What an idea, right?
Yes. But some of the people working out of here, you just want to be here just to say hi to them. Like Chantel Bridges.
Ooh, and Melinda Joy Mingo.
Yes.
And our friend Tom
Carlson.
Yes, indeed. Wonderful people. And Lisa and I also engaged their facility in Denver called Co-working, which is a fantastic facility.
Gorgeous, yes. And we have to do a huge shout out for Alan Briggs.
Yes.
He is our right-hand man, especially in this podcast studio. He has given us great wisdom and insight on how to use all the bougie stuff that they have in here.
The bougie stuff. Yeah.
It is. It's high end.
It is. It's wonderful. We're so blessed to be able to be here at Cole Harbor. And you need to come in and do a 14-day free trial of this facility. Lisa, tell them a little bit about some of the great things that Cole Harbor offers.
Yes. Well, their membership starts at $25 on up, and that gets them 24/7 access to a beautiful, gorgeous space. And not only that, Frank, you know what they have?
What?
Amazing pour-over coffee, which all of my friends love, and I love the tea. They have hot tea, and they have iced coffee, and they have sparkling water, all the things. It's so beautiful here, so come and check them out.
Well, come on down and join us at Corporate and Tech Center Drive. Beautiful location over here. You can't miss us. We're sponsored by the great Joshua Geary with Crescio. And Joshua just won Hispanic Rising Professional of the Year. Yay! Hey, he's been with us so long, and he is really produces and helps us with this show.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Crescio.
Yes, so Crescio, they offer pay what you can consultations, and they specialize in not only just Chat GPT, but they will work with your business to help you get sustainable and then leave and leave you successful. Their goal is not to stay with you forever. Their goal is to keep you moving with excellence.
Indeed. And AI is the rage right now. Joshua is an expert in AI, and he and his team can help you navigate the sometimes scary road of AI and what's happening, and deliver work with you that you won't have to worry about all the myths about AI. They know how it works for you. And what I do love, Lisa, about Crescio is the pay what you can consultations to the
Absolutely.
underserved southeast sector of our city, reaching out and trying to help people.
Absolutely. So check them out at Crescio.com.
Indeed. We're sponsored by Brandon Kurt from Planet Duck.
Yes, he's the owner of Planet Duct, and he has the largest vacuums, strongest vacuums. And what is his slogan again, Frank?
Yeah, they're stronger than the vacuum of space. And Brandon and his family, with his 3 children, are just incredible. I know them personally.
Me too.
We've had a great opportunity to know them. He's a great family man. 25 years, been married to, what is his wife's name? Gava?
Gava. And she's a beautiful artist. And yes, they have an amazing farm as well.
They do. And he loves Star Wars. So if you're into that scene, give Brandon a call. He loves Star Wars, all things Star Wars-y.
Yes,
Yeah.
not only that, but he loves the Colorado Springs. His give back throughout all local businesses in town is amazing, and we sure do appreciate him in town. They do have the strongest vacuums in Colorado,
Indeed.
which will help you get amazing air quality for your home.
Indeed. They find all kinds of stuff in our vent systems. They've done my house as well, and so many of my friends.
Yeah.
They really are the cream of the crop when it comes to duct cleaning.
They are.
And one last thing, many of you didn't know this, but Brandon has mentored many small business people in this community.
Yes.
His give back to our community is exceptional. So make sure to look them up because they are.
Stronger than the vacuum of space.
Yes, they are.
We are sponsored by the lovely, incredible Karen Butcher with Westco Insurance.
Yes, Karen is an amazing insurance agent doing home, casualty, all these different types of insurance. And here's the deal. She has some of the same customers that she had when she started 24 years ago. They're still engaging her this many years later, which means she has to have some incredible customer service and some attentive skills. Right?
To include me.
And me.
She's helped me a lot over the years.
She's
So we
incredible.
really appreciate Karen Butcher and all the wisdom and savviness that she has in the insurance industry. So check her out, Karen Butcher, Westco Insurance.
Please. Yeah, welcome to the Be Encouraged show with Frank.
And Lisa.
We're so glad that you join us on Mondays and align with us in our goal of infusing hope and encouragement throughout the world.
That's right. We are now offering 2 free guests on our show every single Monday from 11 to 12 or 12 to 1 Mountain Standard Time. But we also have an amazing new venture that we've started this year, Frank.
Indeed. We have the free hug campaign that's starting that Lisa and I are going to go out in community, offer free hugs. Hugs have medicinal value that's really, really strong, and we want to use that to help humans.
Absolutely. And we are also going around the world on live Instagrams. So our ask of you is, if you know of any amazing business owners out in other countries or across the nation, please introduce them to us at lisa@beencouraged.net.
Yeah, make sure that you Email her. Yes, and she'll get it done for us, and we'll make sure that we highlight your business. You know, really the value of this is exposure. We get the opportunity to expose your business to our growing audience and get so that you can be seen and people can engage your business.
And we do offer sponsorship levels starting at $50 on up. So depending on how much marketing you have in your budget, we would love to help you get maximum exposure both on our website as well as our show.
Indeed. We love humans here at the Be Encouraged show. And the reason we exist is to create value for you.
The real value of sponsoring our show is joining us on our mission to infuse hope and encouragement throughout the world.
Aligning missional values is very important to us, and we are looking for businesses that align with us and our values and what we're trying to give out to the world.
Yes, this is about social impact, Frank.
Indeed. We know how important that is in this community and around the world. So join us in our mission to create social impact for your business.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa, minus Frank. He is still in beautiful Florida. So we want to wish him well travels, safe travels, Frank, tomorrow. Can't wait to have you back here in Colorado Springs. And we have an amazing lineup of guests today. I was able to get 3 instead of 2, so I maximized it. I can't wait to share our guests with you all. All right, so thank you so much to our platinum sponsor, Crescio, for the show. When you get Pay What You Can consultations with them, you can learn how to penetrate the noisy market with brand recognition strategies. Visit Crescio.com to learn more and check out the flyer that we provided you all today. And oh, wait, I'm sorry. Joshua's like, Lisa, what are you doing? This is my second time going solo without Frank. The first time was when I was 30 days into the first podcast. Yeah,
All right,
that was crazy. All right, so We are joining you live from Colorado Springs. If you want to join us internationally, please go to our website and select international via Instagram to join us live from anywhere in the world. Again, today's show is sponsored by Crescio. So let's go ahead and introduce our panel host, Mr. Thomas Carlson's in the house. Super excited to have him.
Yay.
So he is a seasoned entrepreneur with 22 years of experience, founding in 6 businesses across diverse industries in the U.S. and abroad, including construction and graphic design. He is fluent in Arabic with cultural exposure in over 50 countries. He also brings an academic perspective as a professor of philosophy. You have that look.
I forgot that was in there.
I mean, you do have the look. Professor of philosophy and guest lecturer on topics such as startups, theology, and cultural intelligence.
There you go.
Thomas is also the founder of The Think Tank, where he leverages his global expertise to help entrepreneurs collaborate and innovate. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right.
I'm excited to be here.
And to his right is Mr. Chris McKnight, founder of Earthling.
Yes.
Ooh, I love that name.
Thank you.
He is a designer specializing in branding and scalable marketing strategies for startups and small to medium-sized businesses. His work focuses on creating impactful brand identities and fostering sustainable business growth.
That's it.
All right. And to my left, the beautiful Jenny Lee Porch is in the house. She is a professionally trained coach and creative who supports neurodivergent individuals in building lives and businesses tailored to their unique cognitive needs. Her work emphasizes aligning with clients' natural strengths to achieve personal and professional success.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So it says nothing about your podcast in here, though.
I'm sure I'll talk about it.
Okay. Yes. I was
I
like,
have
okay.
two to talk about.
All right.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow. Okay. Exciting. Well, we're going to get started with you.
All right,
So,
go for
first and foremost,
Yes.
I would like you to share a little bit about your background. Where were you born, growing up, just your personal story.
Sure. So I grew up in Athens, Georgia. So go Dogs.
Yeah.
I've been a fan since they weren't as good as they are right now. So not a fair weather fan. But yeah, I grew up in Georgia. I've traveled around quite a bit. Lived in, I think this is my 7th state now that I've lived in one form or another. But I have the last 20 years or so have just really leaned into entrepreneurship. I love the process of starting businesses. I love the process of helping other people start businesses. I think there's just nothing more exciting or beautiful than you can, like, when you really see somebody bring all of the value that they've got locked up inside of them to the world in a way that the world can find value in it as well. I just love that process.
So wait, let me pause you here because we
Okay.
will be unpacking all that resume.
Okay, gotcha.
So tell us a little personally about you. I mean, all this international, all
Yeah.
the languages, all the things. So tell us about that. How did that come to pass?
I guess it started, I was in high school and we went to Germany for about 5 months. It was
Like a field trip or?
No,
That's
5
a
months. It
long-
was,
yeah.
My father was a mathematics professor, neurodivergent a little bit. He's kind of
Awesome.
on that sort of maybe a little bit on the spectrum. You know,
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that's more brilliant than most human beings really ought to be, you know,
Right,
in some
yeah.
ways. But he's also in math, which means nobody understands what he's actually brilliant about, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, he gets invited around the world to go do stuff. And we took a family trip when I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend at the time and really did not want to go, but it changed my life. I learned German. I'd been studying German in high school for about 3 years. Still couldn't say a word in German until I actually got there and was forced to it.
I can relate.
But it was just, I found that whole cultural process of trying to understand how do you communicate in another language, and
Yeah.
how do you like relate in a different culture? How do you think outside of your own cultural box. I just found that fascinating.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 14, I think, at the time.
my
So
gosh.
I was really young.
Which
but
is probably good for you.
it was fantastic.
Right?
We
Yeah.
went back the next year and spent another month in Europe, and I took a train by myself. So I was 15 at that point. Took a train by myself, lived back in Germany with some friends there for a week, and I said, no English. I only want to speak German. And that week probably did as much for my German as the 3 years of high school that I did before that.
It's the best.
Oh,
yeah.
it was fantastic.
Just immersing
yeah.
yourself into it. What was your favorite thing there?
Mohnkuchen was fantastic. It's a poppy seed cake that the bakeries sell all the time, and I'd like every day I'd come back from the German high school and buy a Mohnkuchen or something new from the bakery. The bakeries are just amazing.
Have you
there,
ever
yeah.
tried to make that at home?
You know what? I never have. I should.
Really?
I should
You
really.
should.
I really.
Are
I
you
really
on
should try to-
Pinterest?
Yeah. Well, sometimes. Yeah.
Oh my god, I live on Pinterest for like recipes and stuff, but I'm just saying, you need
Yeah,
to try
I probably
that.
should.
I
don't
will
know.
taste test it.
I will make it for you at some point. I get my daughter. My daughter's a baker now, so she
Get
she
her
actually
to
does
do
some
it.
stuff.
Yes.
She would actually love
Can
doing
she
that.
do gluten free
I
for me?
never even thought of. Oh, you gluten free?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
bet
I
she
don't-
can master it if she cooks really well. If she
I
bakes.
don't know whether you can make Mohnkuchen with it with.
It's
with
just the
baking.
flour.
Yeah, it's probably so.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just the flour.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Or
Somehow.
she could throw in some sourdough starter because I
Some-
eats the gluten naturally.
Okay, all right. We'll figure out something.
I hope Frank is listening to this because I'm a total foodie and I always like dig deep on the food side
No,
of things.
that's
well, especially
awesome.
when you're
Yeah.
overseas.
Yeah, and
I mean, I'm
I
sure
think
you have
that's one
amazing
thing.
food.
It was so I did that, and then I went to Haiti when I was in college for about 3 months. Actually
Wow.
learned Haitian Creole while I was there.
Was that on a missions trip or?
It was kind of a missions trip. It was. I mean, I worked with an Episcopal church down there.
Okay.
But I mean, this was back before email and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I had written
How'd
a letter.
you get that gig?
I wrote a letter to a person in my church who wrote a letter to a pastor and a priest, an Episcopal priest in Haiti who wrote a letter to another Episcopal priest. And 3 months later, I got a response that said, "Yeah, come on down." You know.
Oh my gosh, I love
So
that.
I was like, "Okay, when, where?" They were like, "Well, just show up on this day and hold a sign." And that's really all I knew is that I
Wow.
showed up, and it turns out I was the only white guy on the plane, so
Right.
it was pretty obvious who I was. But we then went 4 hours up into the mountains. I was the only white person for about a 2 hours drive in any direction.
Yeah.
I was the only English speaker in the entire area. So
Did they
Haitian
get
Creole.
you to teach English?
I tried to teach English. I did a
Okay.
terrible job at that.
Well,
I taught
not a
I taught-
natural teacher.
No,
Okay.
I taught music and I actually did quite
Oh,
well
you
at
did?
music.
Oh,
But
okay.
but English, I learn languages very analytically, and
Uh-huh.
most people don't.
You're a musician on top of all this?
Okay, yeah, I suppose.
Wow! And you're single, right?
Yeah, that's also true. Yes.
Ladies,
oh my
just
goodness.
saying, he's
good
single.
Lord. Lisa, you're gonna make me blush
All
here
right,
now.
Tom.
So yeah, but no, those kind of experiences just built in me a sense of. Part of it's communication, like what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and I think it leans into entrepreneurship as well, because in entrepreneurship, it's one thing to have a great product.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole other thing to communicate what that product is and how do you actually deliver it in a way that you need
Right.
what it is that I have.
Well, that's a good
different
segue,
thing. Yeah.
actually.
So, yeah.
So, Chris,
Yes.
it's your turn.
Cool.
So
yeah.
let's unpack you a little bit.
Sure.
So don't start with your resume. Like,
Okay.
let's backtrack to your personal. Tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Yeah.
All the things on your personal story.
Absolutely. So my story is actually kind of similar to Tom's in a couple of different ways. We had a conversation about this not too long ago. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Just a Midwest kid. My family really big into ministry. And whenever I was 6 years old, my parents decided to take us to Central America to start doing mission work. So I've lived in Costa Rica, Guatemala. That's where I spent most of my childhood. Huge change, kind of was just thrown into it. It was very sudden, and we had language school, but it was a lot of just learning as we went. My first dinner with a family in Costa Rica, I only knew C's. That's what I would say to everything because that's all you know. Yeah, it
Keep
was
getting stuff that you don't recognize
Yes.
because you said yes to it, so now you got to eat
my
it.
poor
so now-
parents, man. Our first like meal with the family in Costa Rica. it's just different. We'd understand kind of how like the structure of the meal works and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they would bring out empanadas for us to eat.
Oh yeah.
Again, didn't speak any Spanish, so it was
Yeah.
just assumed, oh, this is dinner, great. And we ate probably, 15 to 20 of those.
Oh, wow.
Only to learn, an hour later that we still hadn't had dinner yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was the appetizer.
And then they take it very personally if
Yeah.
you don't eat everything on your
Right.
plate.
My mom pulled me aside, just whispered in my ears, like, you better eat whatever's on your plate.
Uh-huh.
Like,
They
you're going
take
to eat a
it.
lot, tonight's the night. So,
Yeah.
but it was incredible. Kind of like Tom was saying, it really shaped not just like my feelings towards entrepreneurship and business, but also just my worldview.
Yeah. How old were you when you came back to America?
So I was around 5 when we left, and I was around 11 when we came back.
Oh,
So
okay.
pretty formative time period.
Yes.
Pretty much all of elementary was spent there.
Wow.
And you learn a lot. You see the world in a different way. Even my parents, we went there. They were very, very hardline Baptist, very, Midwest Baptist basically. They were very, sure in their worldview, and just experiencing different cultures and the ways that people do things differently. It does change you, and it helps you
Yeah.
see a bigger picture.
So you were fluent at 11 when you came back, I'm assuming?
I was not as fluent as I would like to be anymore.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, not as much Spanish.
Same
in
with
Colorado,
me with
unfortunately.
French.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I can put on a telenovela, understand what's going on, but
Yeah.
speaking it, I'm trying to get better at that again.
But
I
you
would
can
like to be able to
understand it,
speak. Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
if we
awesome.
go.
Yeah, I'm the same way in German. I
Yeah.
can understand it well.
Yeah.
But as soon as I try to, because I spent 10 years in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So like Arabic has replaced all of my German now.
Yeah.
So I
So I'm
can't do
curious,
that.
you never did military.
No.
You should have totally done military. You
Oh,
could have made
no, I
a
don't
boatload
know. I
of
don't-
money doing that, serving our
Maybe,
country on the down low.
yeah, I don't know.
I could see
I
you
don't
like
know.
being undercover.
My Arabic is all very what they call Amaya, which is the street Arabic. So, and I didn't mean to take away from him.
No,
too,
that's
so
okay.
keep
No.
on, Chris, yeah.
So Chris, I'm curious, you're married,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so how did you find your bride? Is she from overseas or is she local? Or
No,
what?
she's local. So when we moved back to the States, we moved to Texas. It's where I went to high school. It's where I went to college.
Oh, okay.
Randomly met her at a Christmas party at tail end of COVID, and we got married a little less than a year later.
Oh wow!
So,
So you're newlywed.
Yeah, we've been married about. Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's been since 2021, so it's been a few years now.
Right on.
But we just.
That's still kind of new.
That's-
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I would say
John-
5 years is kind of the
Yeah,
jump
5
off
years.
point, so.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's awesome. She's works for Torchy's Tacos. She's a store manager. She loves it.
Right on.
I don't know, just clicks right away. Sometimes you just know and you don't have to think too hard about
Yes.
it. Just
Yeah.
you're on the same wavelength and there's no
Aw.
reason in waiting. So we took the plunge and lived in Texas for a little longer. And then once we decided we wanted to change, we moved here because I've always wanted to live in Colorado. So
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right, Miss Jenny Lee, it's your turn. So, tell us a little bit about your background, personal background.
Personal background. Well, I'm a little jealous. I wish I had more international experience growing up. Though I was technically born in Okinawa, Japan,
Oh, okay.
because my parents were in the military.
Right on.
And then
Air Force or Army?
Marines.
Marines. Oh,
Yeah.
my dad's a Marine too.
But then when I was 2, we moved to California, so I don't have a lot of experience in remembering what it was like there.
Where at in California?
29 Palm Springs.
Oh, Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Right on. I'm from the Bay Area, so that's why I asked.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, and I think after that, we definitely moved around a bit for different reasons. I mean, there was the military aspect, but they kind of got out, I think, shortly after we all were born. So there was California, Oregon. We jumped over to New York, upstate New York, because that's where some of my family lives.
Me too.
And like
Niagara
way
Falls.
upstate. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking like Finger Lakes area.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's, with the cows and the grapevines and like
Yeah.
that sort of version of New York. And then I went on to go be in Pennsylvania, Texas, then up into Portland, Seattle, and now here. So like,
What
there's
were
lots
you
of-
doing to travel so far? Was that
Me
later when you were
personally, I was,
18, you moved out of the house and
I was going to school, so I picked different schools in different areas.
Oh, okay.
For a long time, I studied theology. I actually have a Master's of Divinity, but in that process, I also sort of deconstructed my own religious beliefs, though I still consider myself very spiritual.
Yeah.
But I think it was a really important part of my life because my mom was actually a pastor in the
Oh,
United
okay.
Methodist Church, which was
Yeah.
part of how we moved around. Because they have this interesting tradition of sort of picking everybody up every 2 years and just moving the pastors all around, whether it works or not.
Ah,
So
very cool.
So how old were you when you left and moved out of the house?
For Pennsylvania,
Yeah, to head out.
I can't. 20 maybe.
Oh, okay.
I had done
So you were home
some.
for a while.
I had done some school in Buffalo first, and
Yeah.
then so I'm just thinking of that one transition. But
Right on.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in Colorado Springs?
I have some family here now.
Oh, good.
And so I started thinking about Colorado, and I
Yeah.
eventually found myself coming here. I'm really enjoying it. I love the mountains.
How long have you been here?
About 2 years.
Okay, so you're fairly new. Right on. And are you married?
No.
No, are you single?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I like to find out because it gives me a little background.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Tom.
Okay.
Share a little bit about what you've got going on in business here in Colorado Springs.
Sure. So about 4 years ago, I started a nonprofit that was focused on particularly developing world entrepreneurship. So it was really taking all the stuff that we've been doing with entrepreneurship in general, but really thinking through development and how do we help create environments in a more developed context where you can actually create economic development as opposed to sort of the more charitable models that typically exist over there. A lot of charity, unfortunately, can be fairly industry destroying in a ways that, and I know a lot of people have heard this, but one of the great stories that I think just explains the whole point without telling us too much about the point is there's a book called When Helping Hurts. And there were a couple brothers in Rwanda who started this egg business. They bought a couple chickens, they sold the eggs, they bought a couple more chickens. Eventually they got a warehouse, employed some people, and started this thriving business. And then at some point or another, this church in Atlanta, well-meaning, loving folks, thought, oh, these poor people in Rwanda, they don't have any protein. Let's send them eggs.
Oh.
So they flood the market with free eggs, which everybody loves. The whole village dancing, the white people walk in, everything's exciting, except for the brothers, who now can't compete with free. They can't sell their eggs anymore. So they go out of business. And then a year later, the church said, oh, this has been so great. Let's go help somebody else.
Oh, no.
And they leave the community with no eggs and no egg business.
Oh.
And so it winds up, and that is unfortunately the story over and over and over again with traditional kind of charitable models.
Yes.
Whereas if that church had invested in these brothers and helped them build 2 more warehouses, the community would still have eggs.
Yes.
But they just couldn't do it that way. So this is part of what we're saying is that development happens best when it's the people themselves who are creating their own economic development.
So
And
help
when
our
we can get
listeners understand what you're doing in that realm.
So what we were doing then was going over and helping do trainings on growth-oriented businesses. So not just micro business, but businesses that create jobs, create economic development, help create interaction. So ecosystems of entrepreneurship.
So great. Are you still doing that?
And so I'm still trying to do that. Part of what we're doing here really is the idea of, well, what we're doing really is helping entrepreneurs in a way that entrepreneurs anywhere could use it.
Yeah.
So what if we started an online community here that could actually help create sort of a do it at your own pace, at your own speed, in your own place incubator?
Also known as
the think tank, which is what this is, which is like
why Chris and I are also here because we're a part of this.
yes,
and
I
these
am
guys
as
have been
well.
big, and
I
you
love
have
it.
been part,
I'm your big cheerleader in there.
So I think part of what we're really being able to do is helping guys, folks like you guys and people out there really start businesses, really be able to make progress and connect with each other.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship can be a really lonely thing.
Very
at times.
lonely, frustrating.
Right. So
sometimes depressive.
there's that roller coaster,
Right?
that
That's the
emotional
thing.
roller coaster that we go
Yeah.
on as entrepreneurs. So if we can help entrepreneurs connect with each other, feel connected with others who are doing the same thing, going through the same frustrations, the same process, but then really give them that opportunity to work towards a pitch, which we're really talking about as an articulated business plan.
Yes.
Then we're giving people the opportunity to start businesses anywhere. And if we can do that, and then also bring in people from the developing world who can also help start businesses, then we're really coming up underneath
Is
rather
your
than
vision,
from the top down.
so
as
tell
it
us
were.
about your vision. Back to the overseas mission, because I love that. I mean, that
Yes.
give back is huge. So
Yep.
where does Think Tank come in for overseas?
Well, I think once the think tank really builds out, and we've been in the process the last 3 months of really figuring out what people need,
Yeah.
and what people want, and it's not everything that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. I feel like
It'll evolve and grow.
I feel like I've been building this garden. I put the wall around. I plowed up the ground. I threw a bunch of seeds in there. I'm going, oh wow, look at that. Oh wow, I mean, Jenna Lee comes along and just starts a podcast.
Yeah.
In the middle of the think tank, and it's like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And yet it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, she's a fantastic. She really does a fantastic job. You know, and other people. We've got an advisory board that we're going to start up. Chris is actually going to be a part of that here
Awesome.
soon.
Exciting.
And I'm just excited to see where it goes. But I think the point is that the more we can help entrepreneurs everywhere,
Yes.
the more we can help entrepreneurs in specific places
Okay.
too. So
As you grow, you'll double back.
we want to
over
go back.
there
We've
to-
already got some people from overseas. We got a couple people from Ethiopia, which is where we were working before.
Yes, fantastic.
We've got a couple people from India, but a lot of the folks are in the U.S. I really want to customize it more locally right now, and then gradually expand out.
Okay.
But
I
if
have
we
one
can
more
do that,
question.
yeah, please
before
go ahead.
Sorry, because this
No,
this show
this
goes
is
very
good. This
quick.
is good.
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest pain point you've had in the last 6 months with the think tank?
Me personally, or what
For
we've
the
discovered?
business, for the think tank itself,
I think
because this is your business. So.
Yeah, it is. I think I would say it's not a pain point. It's really figuring out how do we meet people's needs. And I mean, every business has got to do this. But this is a new kind of thing for me too.
How are you overcoming that?
I'm talking to lots of people. You know, I've had so many conversations with Jen Lee and with Chris both about
And with me.
and with you, Lisa. Thank you very
I have
much.
talked to you a lot.
Yes, you know, like what's working here? What's not working here? How could we do this better so that it really meets your needs? Because if it's not meeting your needs, you're not going to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole point. Is that I want you guys to be successful, and to do that, we've got to figure out how do we meet the needs of the people that are in it. So I think that's been really the biggest point.
Because that's
is
how
that.
you feel you're going to trailblaze once you understand that.
Once we've got that, I feel like we're really, really close now, and
Yeah.
now it's just a matter of bringing more people in, because I think that also adds value
Absolutely.
to all of you guys,
Mhm.
because the more people you can connect with, the more people you know that are also doing stuff, and you find other people who are have neurodivergence as their focus, then suddenly there's synergy and there's collaboration and there's, oh wait, I never thought of that kind of
Yeah.
ideas that come out that were like, okay, now I know how to move forward. Now I know how to really make things
I
work.
also want to add too that
Yeah.
I love as part of the community that there are entrepreneurs there of all different experience levels.
Yep.
So you have folks who've done it for decades to folks who are maybe a number of years in or just 6 months in or just starting out. And that's a really interesting span of insights and wisdom to pull from, which Tom is doing really well by having these conversations with all sorts of folks.
Yeah.
So that's something I really enjoy, that it seems very welcoming to any level of entrepreneurship, even if you're just like, I have this idea, or I just want to be a part of this community, because not everywhere are people really excited about entrepreneurial journeys. Because often I think with some communities or some people in our lives, they can sort of downplay it or try to criticize it as a path. But I really like being a part of a community that really encourages us to move forward.
Yeah.
So Jenny Lee, since you're talking, I'll just go to you directly. I was going to hit Chris up, but tell us a little bit about what you've got going on in community. I know you mentioned you have 2 different podcasts. Just share a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I think as Tom mentioned, one of the podcasts I started within the community, it was just an idea that I had, because I love talking with people. I love drawing out their passions and their stories about what really matters to them. And so that is one of the projects that I'm working on, is the Think Tank Community Spotlights. So we pull on 2 different people once a week, as much as we can, and give them 20 minutes. And it's actually been an interesting container for me to be in, because they're short conversations, so you can't get through the whole story. I'm used to having more hour-long conversations with one person.
That's why this show's so
And-
challenging.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a good challenge though, because
Yeah.
I feel like it gives enough where the person has to be a bit succinct, and then you want to know more. So I feel like it does invite people to connect with each other.
So is that one of your podcasts? Is
Yeah,
a spotlight on Think Tank?
On Think,
Okay,
on the
perfect.
community members of
Yeah.
Think Tank. so that we can really get to know each other better.
And that's a great give back. And do you do recording and then they can share it on their socials?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I want
What's
to
your
for
other
them
podcast?
Too. My other one is called Neuro Revolution, and so that's the one where
I like that name.
Yeah,
Neuro Revolution.
That's great.
That's the one where I am interviewing neurodivergent entrepreneurs, creatives, and change makers. And I've already launched it, and we're sort of moving along with it now. But I feel like it's a really important space to be in and be allowing neurodivergent folks to share their own stories of what is working for them in entrepreneurship. Because I know that for a lot of folks, so when I say neurodivergent, I understand it's an umbrella term that covers so many things.
Yeah, explain real quick to our listeners.
So basically, if you just think about it as like it's a way that your brain and your nervous system is that diverges from what might be considered typical. And so it covers everything from different neurotypes like autism, ADHD, dyslexia, to things you can develop over your lifetime like PTSD, CPTSD, dementia. So it's a really broad term. And I'm focusing in on the folks that really want to maybe find a way to have entrepreneurship work for them. Because I think with a number of different folks in this umbrella, employment or careers can be difficult to access. You know, I know at least with the autistic community, the statistics on unemployment and underemployment is like 60 to 80%.
Yeah.
It's really, really high,
Right.
and that like bothers me so much. But I see that entrepreneurship can be a potential place to move to. If this other area isn't working, then we might be able to create accessibility towards entrepreneurship.
So do you coach them in this on how to start a new business?
I think it'll be part of what I do. I'm starting off with the conversations.
Okay.
Because I want us to hear from each other about what is working. Because not every single thing is like, one person's journey is not prescriptive towards someone else.
Yes, exactly.
Right? But it might inspire their ideas of like, hey, this actually can work for me. I can make this work. And I can do this in a way that's neuroaffirming, which means that it's going to work with my brain and not against it. Which often when someone's put into the context of work outside in other corporations, they're not set up for success. It does not work with how their brain works. And so sometimes that opportunity in entrepreneurship is that you can create your whole world unto yourself of like how this is going to work, how I'm going to show up to this that actually supports you.
So Jenny Lee, I'm curious. Yes. This is a huge give back and a need in the world, actually. Right. Why are you doing this? Where does your passion for this come in?
Because it's part of my own journey.
Share a little bit about your story.
Being a neurodivergent person, I've also struggled with that. I think for many different folks, as we're discovering now, like especially women, non-binary folks, people of color, that we're learning much later in life that we're neurodivergent in all sorts of ways, right, under that umbrella. So that comes with a lifetime of struggling with systems and structures that were not supporting you. And so I've also experienced that. And I've experienced that in a way where it can create that shame, or it can create sort of an interesting past of works, but also a struggle with surviving and like really creating what you want to create in the world. And so I care about that because I've experienced it, but also I see such beauty in other neurodivergent folks, and I want to be someone that really helps them shine. And I think that's been a part of my journey, even when I was a coach, starting off 10 years ago. That I really just wanted to see people shine. So it's
that's
just
your
become
passion.
a little more
I can
specific.
see it. Yeah. You're like glowing with it. So what is your vision like 5 years from now? Do you want to be international? Like what is it? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal?
Well, I mean, that's part of what I'm discovering in the think tank.
Yes. To dream bigger and collaborate, which is awesome.
I mean, I would love that. I mean, I would love an international focus. I would love, like big events where we could come together in ways that are actually supportive of our neurotypes and our sensory issues, if that's something that somebody struggles with. And I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Well,
no, that's great.
And just to say too, man, this is part of what I think I really love about having people like Jenny Lee in the think tank is that she's got an idea and she's got a tremendous amount of value. I mean, if you watch any of the think tank things, I mean, she's fantastic at this stuff. So really figuring out, okay, how do we take this value and turn it into something that really makes money, makes revenue, and I mean revenue not just being a process of being able to support yourself because you need that, but also revenue validates that you're giving people something that they value enough, they're willing to give you value in return.
Yeah.
And
So,
I think that
you know.
impact is really important.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
You know, and I will say that's one of the things I've seen in the think tank. A lot of the entrepreneurs in this community are creating businesses around things they're passionate about,
Yep.
or the impact they want to make because they see a problem that needs solving. And I really love when we come from that space.
Yes.
You know.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
We're running
Let's
out
do
of
it.
time. So tell us real quick about your business and
Sure.
your give back and what you're doing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So my business is Earthling. I'm the founder and the creative. I handle pretty much all of the creative work. And
Are you a sci-fi guy? Just the Earthling, like the
yes
name
and no.
of it.
So the name Earthling, I've just had it for years. Recently, we found a way to connect it to our mission, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
But I just like the word.
Tell us about it. What's your mission? All the things.
Absolutely. So I've always been a graphic designer. I've been an artist since I was like 2 years old. I fill sketchbooks up with pictures of VeggieTale characters, and whenever
Are you a VeggieTale guy?
I'm a
like
VeggieTale
you've been
guy.
paid?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No way.
I've seen VeggieTales on stage.
Are you
yeah,
serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But like you are you a part of the?
Oh no.
Oh,
I
okay.
wish.
You never did the
I
characters.
wish.
I'm like, woo, I was gonna
That
like
was-
bow down to you.
That was a career path I wanted to go down at one point.
I raised my girls on VeggieTales.
Yeah, love VeggieTales. Still love it.
VeggieTales.
Yeah,
so good.
fantastic. The creator Phil Vischer too of VeggieTales, huge inspiration for me as well.
Yeah.
Great guy. Love listening to his podcast. He releases every week. But anyways, that's kind of where it started. And then as I got to high school and was thinking about what I want to do with my life, graphic design just seemed like the best choice. It's the perfect marriage of art, function, and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You're helping companies not just create a logo that represents them well, but also helping them understand their target audience, understanding how to craft a strong brand strategy, how to apply that visual style across different mediums like print, digital. So
Get the narrative going.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts. And so that's what I studied. I got my degree in that. I started freelancing when I was like 16 years old. So I've been doing this for a very long time. It just started out with small projects for friends and families, and I really enjoyed it. Going into the workforce after college, I got a job at a fairly large agency in Texas, and was not working for me. Crazy ADHD brain over here. The structure did not work. 9 to 5 was not fun, and I really despised the culture. Marketing agencies,
It's pretty cutthroat.
it's
right?
very cutthroat,
Yeah.
and they say they care about the results, but they really don't. It's always about the bottom line for the agency.
Money.
Money. And obviously we want to make money. It's part of why we do what we do, but there was no value in what we were doing. It really just felt empty. It felt vapid. We churn and burn through clients quick because they'd sign with us. We'd give them no results. We just take their money, and then we go our separate ways.
Yeah.
So I met my business partner at this job, and we got a chance to work with a couple of companies in sustainability. So working with
Cool.
carbon emissions and finding ways to help companies be more responsible with their output. And we realized that working with a company that provided real value like that, it meant a lot to us, and it was a
Yes.
really cool project to work on, because not only were we creating a cool brand and creating a cool website, but we were also actively helping solve a problem that really needs to be solved. So we got super lucky. We found an investor, family member who just wanted to help us out and get us off the ground, and we quit our jobs and we got started. Our first client was a nonprofit camp I worked at in college. And for the past year, we've slowly just been building our company, building our client base, and really trying to focus on working with companies that are purpose-driven. So whether it be purpose-driven in terms of sustainability, we've worked with EV companies who are developing new, EV technologies.
Yeah.
We've worked with, carbon emission companies who are, creating software solutions to help companies figure out how to be more responsible, or nonprofits, right? People who are trying to, solve a problem, in society that needs to be solved.
So what's happening right now with Earthling this year that is crazy good that you're pushing out?
So we have found a lot of success working with startups, and this is a recent development actually. The problem we've been having is it's always money. A lot of businesses that come to marketing agencies, they're already pretty well established, and they don't need that kind of that income. They don't have to worry about it. The companies we want to work with don't have that access. So we've been really trying to find ways to develop new business offerings. Most marketing agencies they operate off like a month-to-month retainer system. You pay them $3,000 a month. They do this this service for you. We've been finding ways to kind of like develop packages that make it more affordable for these companies so they can get off the ground quicker.
So branding packages. That's incredible.
We call them accelerators. So basically we outline exactly what it's going to look like. We'll outline the timeline. Typically takes 4 to 8 weeks. We'll help them create the brand identity. We'll help them create their marketing website so they can start getting their product in front of people.
Yeah.
A lot of these companies just have an MVP or they just have an idea. They're pre-seed. Sometimes they're pre-seed. They don't even have any kind of money at all yet. So we just help them create a website that gets the product out there, gets it in front of people, and then we also teach them and coach them on how to use LinkedIn, email, and online social channels to network with the right people.
I love that.
Teach them lead generation. Our approach, we really are trying to be more about empowering and consulting versus just selling, because it's a lot easier now to take control of your own marketing, and it's not something we want to gatekeep. We want to help people.
Yeah.
So
you should definitely have coffee with Joshua with Crescio.
Okay, cool.
Because he offers pay
really
what you
should.
can
You really
consultations,
should.
and
Yeah.
you guys could really collaborate together in your
Awesome.
spaces. So,
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so since Frank's not here, he loves to read this, but I'm gonna do this for you.
Okay, please.
So Robert Frost's famous quote, "I shall be telling you this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference."
Amen.
What is the road less traveled that you took in life?
I think the thing for me, and this has been, it's made things hard sometimes, but I feel like I wanted to focus more on the kinds of people that I wanted to help and the kinds of things that I wanted to accomplish more than I did on the paycheck. And there are times that I've regretted that decision. But at the same time, it's made for a much, fuller life. I feel like I really enjoy having a sense of purpose about what I'm doing. I mean, you talk about purpose and all of this. I feel like, there's one thing to work a job and then try to find purpose outside of that job. I think it's a whole nother thing when you're really giving, what it is that you bring to the table and the kind of purpose you want to, the kind of people you want to help, and that finding a way to make that your business. And I feel like that's part of what the think tank has been for me, is that, and I joke about this too, because I'm not a great social media guy. Yeah, this is kind of a social media I mean, there's a lot more to it than just social media, but there's at least an element of that. And it's not my strength. I see people like Jen Lee come in, and I mean, she can just kill it. She just she's amazing at it. And I'm thinking, well, I can't even do that, but I can, I can create a place for, people like her, people like you guys to be able to do stuff in it. And then to have guys like you, who have that same kind of focus of, let's help these entrepreneurs figure this out. Let's figure out how to help people who are neurodivergent, actually build their dreams out of this thing. I think that's the road less traveled. I guess if that's what it is, then I want to serve people and then figure out how to make a business out of that, rather than figure out how to make a business and then see if it serves anybody.
Okay. And Chris, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So you have a lot of clients, especially startup clients, who are probably really stressed. They probably are spiraled down a lot. How do you help them flourish and really spiral up and thrive in their branding part of their business?
That is a great question. It really comes down to really helping them understand where I come from too, because in a way I am a startup. We've only been around for about a year. We've been very lucky, and we've been able to survive and gotten to this point. But there's a shared experience there that I can tap into pretty easily and pretty quickly. Whenever I was trying to figure out how we were going to present Earthling to the world, 9-10 months ago, and I was stressing about that, I can pull from that because it's so fresh and so recent. When we started off, our goal was really just to be a regular agency, but as we started to go through all of the different processes and experience all the pain points of being a startup, we realized that there is not only an opportunity for us to do what we do, but tap into that experience and help, alleviate those who are concerned and provide the advice that we need to. Being not authoritative in a bad way, but like a lot of times startups will come to us and they think they need this, 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 and this. Being very concise and saying, hey, at this stage, you just need this. This is all you need. Trust us. Like, if you're only showing this to an investor, for example, you just need a pitch deck. Don't worry about social media. Being very clear with them and helping them really establish like what they need and when they need it and why they need it helps a lot. Someone actually made on the pitch deck, his name is Manav. He's with a startup called Retina Robotics. They're creating like a camera system for warehouse management and automations and stuff.
Manav
and he's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy. And he kind of came to us in that situation. He was trying to use LinkedIn, email to try to connect with people and network, and he was having a lot of trouble. And we just sat down with him and we kind of looked at what he was doing. Said, hey, we get you. We've been there. This is what we do, how we solve the problem. And, if you want us to help you, we'll help you. And we kind of helped him come up with a game plan for the next couple of months to figure out exactly, what he should be working on. We decided pitch decks were most important because he's just trying to get, beta testers to use the product. You need to show it to people. And, help him kind of figure out exactly the
simplified it for him.
Simplified. That's all it is.
So great. Because we all tend to do that, right? As entrepreneurs, we think we have to do all this because you're looking at your neighbor next door who's doing the same thing. You're like, oh, he's got all these bells and whistles, but you really to narrow it down like that. That's great.
Those bells and whistles take time, and I think people just they don't think about that. It takes years sometimes. It doesn't take a week. But most guys they go to marketing agencies, they just try to upsell. They don't try to focus on what they need. Awesome. So we feel like that brings value, and we try to make sure that's kind of the forefront of how we approach it. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
right. So in closing, get ready. I'm not going to make you go first, Jenny Lee. She already told me. She's like, don't make me go first. Okay. So I'm going to start with you, Tom, since you're the panel host. So as you know, our show is all about infusing hope and encouragement throughout the world. That's our big mission. I want you to take just a moment and look at that camera there and encourage the world.
Okay. I think this is where the mission of the think tank is. It's what I really want to encourage people with is that if you've got a dream, if you've got something that you really want to do, lean into it. It's worth it. Entrepreneurship is hard. It is really, really hard. But it's so worth it, because when you can find purpose in what it is that you do and what it is you bring to the world, it really does change things for you. It's not just for the world, it's seeing your creation come to the world. And I think there's something about the way that we are made that we want to be able to bring value to the world. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is really all about. It's about an expression of who we are in a way that finds that value that says the world needs me.
Yes.
The world really does need me, and the world needs you.
Yes.
So lean into that and find that place where you can give something to the world that the world is really going to value. And that revenue, what that revenue is doing is saying, yes, the world does need what it is that you're giving. That's where impact comes in, and that's where the validation of that comes in.
Awesome. And how can they reach you?
They can reach me through either our website, which is www.ecatalyst.org, or the community is at ecatalyst.circle.so. And so just come on. You can watch the video. You can see all the facts and the FAQs. And then joining, you get 2 weeks for free. You can just try it out, experience the community a little bit, see some of the live events. And then it's like $27 a month. And if you can't afford that, by all means, let us know. We're happy to try to figure out a way to make sure that you can afford it, because we'd rather be able to help people that need help than make all the money in the world off of everybody. We're not even charging that much, but we want to make sure that people can really enjoy it.
Okay, so the think tank. And Chris, if you can do the same thing, look in that camera, encourage the world, and then let them know how to reach you.
Sure, sounds good. My advice would be to remember that no one has it all together, no matter how put together they may seem. That's been the biggest struggle, I think, for me as an entrepreneur, is seeing all of these other companies and seeing where they're at and feeling like, how am I not at that level yet? Why am I struggling so much? When in reality, people are looking at me and feeling the same way when they look at me. They're like, how is he not struggling? So remember that you are not alone. It is easy to become a lonely entrepreneur, because it's easy to not, it's hard to see past that initial veil of success. So nobody ever has it all together. It's always a learning process. Don't be scared to change. Don't be scared of instability. It's going to happen. Happens to me. It's happened to Tom. It's happened to all of us. So just know that you're not alone in that, and that everybody experiences that. And then as far as contacting me, best way to get in touch with me is on our website, earthling.digital. You can schedule a free consultation if you just want to talk with me and pick my brain on what it is you're working on. Obviously, whatever stage of your business you're at, I'd love to talk to you. Even if our services are out of reach for right now, which is totally fine. I know people are at different spots. We do consulting too. So if you just need to talk to somebody, book a few hours with me, you can do that. I'm a resource that's available however you need me for whatever it is you're working on. So
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
That's great.
All right, Miss Jenny Lee, you're up.
Okay. I had all the thoughts and then they went away. No.
Da-da-da.
But I was going to say that, especially for neurodivergent folks, I think that often we can get the message that we don't belong in different places. And I want you to know that you belong in your dream and in your vision. And one of the major aspects of the neuro revolution is that it starts within you, in accepting and celebrating how you're different and beautiful and amazing, and in getting that support and connecting with other folks that can really help you bring that into the world. So I hope that everything I create is an inspiration to all of you. You don't have to necessarily be neurodivergent, but if you feel different in any way, you might resonate with some of this. And you can find the podcast website at neurorevolution.co. And then the Think Tank interviews, if you want to engage with awesome entrepreneurs, is on YouTube. I think Tom would know how to. I don't actually know what the link is to that.
Yep. Well,
What's your YouTube link, real quick?
I'm not even sure what our YouTube
Put it in.
link is. Yeah.
It's okay.
We'll
You can
figure
put
it out.
in the
Yeah.
comments later. All right.
But it is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny Lee. Any other way to contact you? Email, anything?
It's on the website.
Okay, perfect. All right, everyone. That is a wrap for show number 1. We will be back in a few minutes with show number 2. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Frank, and this is
Lisa.
We want to welcome you to the Be Encouraged Show, where each week we reach an audience of 45,000 potential listeners
And growing.
across our social platforms and guest networks. Our mission is simple yet profound: to spread hope and encouragement, connecting our audience with stories that uplift and inspire.
So, whether you're a business owner looking to expand your reach or someone eager to share your journey of impact, our platform is designed to highlight the positive differences we can all make.
Getting involved with our show is easy and rewarding. First, you get to be a guest on this show. This is a fantastic opportunity for brand recognition as you share your story with our engaged listeners.
And Frank and I are now offering Q&A Mastermind monthly sessions. And these are not just informative experiences, but we actually help with your business on strategic insights and provide a supportive group setting.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we? And if you're looking to drive targeted lead generation, consider sponsoring our show. We offer multiple tiers and customizable options to fit your marketing needs perfectly.
We have had over 350 guests, and they have been able to brand themselves and share all the goodness that they are doing here in community.
And it's not just about numbers. Our approach opens up a space for vulnerability, helping our guests genuinely connect with audiences. This authentic interaction is a powerful catalyst for community and business growth. Take, for example, we have partners here at Be Encouraged, and since getting involved with our platform, they've seen a staggering 900% growth in just 7 months here in the Springs.
So, if you're ready to make a significant impact, join us today at beencouraged.net.
And let's make the world a more hopeful and connected place, one story at a time.
Would you eat a prime steak if it was served on a dirty plate? Probably not. Hi, I'm Giuseppe. Just like a fine steak, your product needs to be presented well to be effective. If you feel you're not selling effectively or spending money on unused tools, comment below with marketing strategy. Let's clean up your presentation and maximize your business potential in just 90 days.
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Crescio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
Hello, I'm Frank, and this is
Lisa.
We want to welcome you to the Be Encouraged Show, where each week we reach an audience of 45,000 potential listeners
And growing.
across our social platforms and guest networks. Our mission is simple yet profound: to spread hope and encouragement, connecting our audience with stories that uplift and inspire.
So, whether you're a business owner looking to expand your reach or someone eager to share your journey of impact, our platform is designed to highlight the positive differences we can all make.
Getting involved with our show is easy and rewarding. First, you get to be a guest on this show. This is a fantastic opportunity for brand recognition as you share your story with our engaged listeners.
And Frank and I are now offering Q&A Mastermind monthly sessions. And these are not just informative experiences, but we actually help with your business on strategic insights and provide a supportive group setting.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we? And if you're looking to drive targeted lead generation, consider sponsoring our show. We offer multiple tiers and customizable options to fit your marketing needs perfectly.
We have had over 350 guests, and they have been able to brand themselves and share all the goodness that they are doing here in community.
And it's not just about numbers. Our approach opens up a space for vulnerability, helping our guests genuinely connect with audiences. This authentic interaction is a powerful catalyst for community and business growth. Take, for example, we have partners here at Be Encouraged, and since getting involved with our platform, they've seen a staggering 900% growth in just 7 months here in the Springs.
So if you're ready to make a significant impact, join us today at beencouraged.net.
And let's make the world a more hopeful and connected place, one story at a time.
Would you eat a prime steak if it was served on a dirty plate? Probably not. Hi, I'm Giuseppe. Just like a fine steak, your product needs to be presented well to be effective. If you feel you're not selling effectively or spending money on unused tools, comment below with marketing strategy. Let's clean up your presentation and maximize your business potential in just 90 days.
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Crescio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
Hello, I'm Frank, and this is
Lisa.
We want to welcome you to the Be Encouraged show, where each week we reach an audience of 45,000 potential listeners
And growing.
across our social platforms and guest networks. Our mission is simple yet profound: to spread hope and encouragement, connecting our audience with stories that uplift and inspire.
So, whether you're a business owner looking to expand your reach or someone eager to share your journey of impact, our platform is designed to highlight the positive differences we can all make.
Getting involved with our show is easy and rewarding. First, you get to be a guest on this show. This is a fantastic opportunity for brand recognition as you share your story with our engaged listeners.
And Frank and I are now offering Q&A mastermind monthly sessions. And these are not just informative experiences, but we actually help with your business on strategic insights and provide a supportive group setting.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we? And if you're looking to drive targeted lead generation, consider sponsoring our show. We offer multiple tiers and customizable options to fit your marketing needs perfectly.
We have had over 350 guests, and they have been able to brand themselves and share all the goodness that they are doing here in community.
And it's not just about numbers. Our approach opens up a space for vulnerability, helping our guests genuinely connect with audiences. This authentic interaction is a powerful catalyst for community and business growth. Take, for example, we have partners here at Be Encouraged, and since getting involved with our platform, they've seen a staggering 900% growth in just 7 months here in the Springs.
So if you're ready to make a significant impact, join us today at beencouraged.net.
And let's make the world a more hopeful and connected place, one story at a time.
Would you eat a prime steak if it was served on a dirty plate?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa. I am totally missing my business partner, Frank, today. He is in paradise out in Florida. He will be traveling safely back tomorrow, so we can't wait to have you back in community, my friend and my awesome mentor. We miss you. So today's show, thank you to our platinum sponsor, Crescio, Joshua Aguirre, for this show. They offer pay what you can consultations with them. Yes, pay what you can consultations. And you can learn how to penetrate the noisy market with brand recognition strategies. So visit them at Crescio.com to learn more and check out the flyer that we provided you. You can take that home. That would be great. All right, so let's get started. We've got our beautiful panel host, Miss Katie Wendland. Thank you so much. She stepped up last minute for me. I was scrambling for a guest. If for some reason this Colorado Springs entrepreneurs don't want to work in November and December, they're really slowing down. So I would encourage you who are entrepreneurs out there to start hustling now. You don't want to slow your momentum in business. I will tell you that for free. Okay, so Miss Katie Wendland, let's tell you a little bit about her. She is the founder of Colorado Duck Doctors, a thriving business which she launched in 2021 to improve indoor air quality through NADCA, NADCA standard cleaning practices with a background. She has a background in microbiology and previous experience co-founding Agor Solutions to enhance soil health for farmers. And Katie brings her passion for education and health to her entrepreneurial ventures. And Marcos, to my right, who's actually a real Spaniard from Spain, you guys. He is adorable. So I just met him for a few minutes, getting to know him. Marcos Del Caso is the CEO of Whoop Environmental. He specializes in transforming business inefficiencies into profitability through efficiency improvement plans. His approach leverages current expenses to save businesses part of their revenue, often achieving self-funding solutions with significant returns. Marcos is passionate about helping organizations turn expenses into sustainable profits. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So, Katie, tell us a little bit about what you're doing in business locally here in the Springs.
So, yeah, that's a great question. So we just help homeowners ideally try to breathe a little cleaner air in their homes. Because you have your system, it circulates air and it's get cold out, so everything is shut down, especially right now. So we want to make sure that they're able to breathe cleaner, try to keep it lighter, reduce those allergies and those winter symptoms that cause colds. But yeah, we do a ton of air duct cleaning and dryer vent cleaning, bathroom exhaust fan cleaning, air purification installations, and humidifiers.
And are you still doing the Agor, the soil, all the things with the farmers?
I still have clients here, in Ray and Alamosa. And
tell our listeners about that, because I think it's the coolest give back.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I started at Agor Solutions in 2015. So my background is in microbiology, so soil health, microorganisms. And ideally, fertilizer companies go out and their idea is to feed the plant for the plant to grow. We have the idea of, the plant has plenty of bacteria to actually can break down those nutrients that you're trying to feed it in the soil, kind of like gut biome.
Yeah.
Where you have bacteria that break things down so that your body can increase the intake of the fertilizer. Well, even though fertilizer companies can sell those products, they don't want to, because it reduces the amount of fertilizer you need. Because if the plant knows how to digest properly, you don't need to throw as much stuff onto the plant for it to grow. So I go out, I have a business partner as well in Scottsdale. Yeah. And we go and educate.
I think I met him on the phone, right?
Tony.
Yeah, Tony, yep. He's cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So we've had that since 2015. We have farmers in 12 states right now.
Are you in Colorado as well?
I am in Colorado. So I get mainly Alamosa area, all the way out to Ray, and a little bit in Nebraska, Yuma, Colorado, Arizona, California, Washington, Oregon, Florida, Missouri. But ideally, all we're doing is teaching growers that you can increase your yield by taking care of your soil, your bacteria in the soil, so that you can reduce fertilizer inputs.
I'm curious, do you offer just normal residents here in Colorado any products or anything like that where they can? Because I have got friends who have their own greenhouses, all the things. Is that a thing?
So it is not so much a thing because we do it by acreage.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're by acreage, but there is a product on Amazon right now. It is called Bloom. That is one of our products that we have minimized to a smaller concentrated volume. It's a humic acid. So ideally, humic helps increase the nitrogen in the soil longer and helps it from leaching in sandy soils, as well as allows the moisture to stay in the plant, so plants don't get a lot of watering.
Yeah.
It's really good for holding moisture in the soil. So it's called Bloom. It's on Amazon.
All right, you guys,
And
check
that
out
is
Bloom.
the smallest amount we can get down that's concentrated. You only
Okay.
get a few drops.
Yeah.
But usually it's like 1 gallon to an acre. So if it tells you that's a minimum amount, and you mix it with some water and you pour it to a house plant.
All right, and Marcos, tell us, what is your business here locally in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, so I help other businesses save money by improving all of the efficiency in the business. So everything from improving what employees do with their time, trying to make more revenue out of every hour they work, to material usage, but also how much they spend on the same materials. We'll go and negotiate with vendors, get them a really good discount so they can get those materials for a lower price. We'll also look at fuel consumption. Now, this one, whenever we do changes to fuel consumption, we actually save more money in the amount of time that we save. Because obviously if you're driving less miles, that's one less person or multiple people that are spending less time in the car. So a lot of the time, hey, we'll save maybe $200 a week on gas, but we're saving $2,000 a week on just employee time that we cut out.
So I'm curious, who's your ideal client?
Right now we're only working with trades businesses since
okay.
we like to have a absolutely perfect service for one industry, and then once we have that perfected, go on to the next and the next, so that we can really get the max amount of savings for every business that we go across.
So I'm curious, what birthed the dream of this company?
I mean, ever since I was little, I wanted to have some sort of business.
Yeah.
And I started my first one at 14, and through that, I
Doing what?
Clothing. So
Really?
selling clothing. I made the change to make it sustainable as a marketing move, but I ended up saving a ton of money. Every product was 10% cheaper to make with 20% more expensive materials.
Was that here in the U.S.?
Yeah, here in the U.S.
Where were you out doing that?
Here in Colorado Springs.
In Colorado Springs?
Yeah.
So what would you do? You'd go buy clothes? And then
No,
sell them, or
so
what?
I went with a few different factories, kind of told them, hey, these are the materials I want you to buy, this is how I want you to cut it, this is where I want you to ship it, these are the orders that you get. Redesigned basically the entire manufacturing line that they had to make it more efficient for me, and that saved me a ton of money. And I said, okay, I have to help other businesses do that and put a really big focus on efficiency.
So do you know how to sew clothes and stuff?
Yeah. Well,
So
no,
is that your
not quite
background,
that.
or no?
So I got into it almost by accident.
Yeah.
So I started selling backpacks and stuff, just doing drop shipping and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw, okay, I have an opportunity to make clothes with a few people that already knew how to do all the designing and everything. So I just ran the business side of things. But then I saw, okay, the way we're manufacturing it is not the most efficient. So I sat down, calculated a few things, and kind of asked, is this possible to do? Like, can we only do this with that fabric? And they're like, yeah, we can. So I started making those changes.
Because you saw what fabrics are trending.
Yeah,
and
well,
all
I
that?
saw how they were cutting them, how every person in the manufacturing line was working.
Yeah.
And I saw that we had a few steps that were just not great. And there's a ton of material that we had that when we cut it, the rest of it was just not usable for anything. Or we were making too many sizes that just weren't selling. So I said, okay, let's change how we do things. So we changed how we cut it, all the templates. I had to work with them because I'm horrible with all the geometry stuff. So I have to work with them. I'm like, is this possible to cut this part out?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you can't make a shirt out of that. I'm like, okay, let's work with that. But yeah, I made a lot of changes to that efficiency side of things. And from there, I got the idea for this business.
So can I have a question?
Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, so ideally then what you're doing is you're reducing the extra amount of material that you were paying for, that you didn't need, that you were going to throw it out anyways.
We were starting to make things out of it.
You make something out of it, either reuse it or shorten the amount that was needed so you'd order over.
So yeah, we reduced the total amount of wastage, but then all the wastage, we actually found other people that were using that same factory as us, and we started selling those scraps because they would make scrunchies and stuff like that, and that's stuff that we didn't make. So we just sold them those scraps at a really low value. So now our waste was money for.
That's incredible.
For us. So,
okay, so I've got to ask. entrepreneur. You are 20 years old, trailblazing from Spain. I mean, tell us about your background. What's your parents like? What are they entrepreneurs?
No, they're not.
Really?
So,
Okay.
Yeah, my mom works in legal stuff, and then my dad works, and then he did work for quite a few large companies as the financial director. So that's kind of where I got a taste of
the numbers.
business. Yeah, I got to see kind of how that is. Some days he had to take me to work, and I'm like, yeah, this is a really fun job. Just not yours. I like your boss's job more.
Oh, nice.
So, it's like, yeah, I want to be like your boss. So that seems more cool to me. So yeah, ever since I was like 2 or 3, I only wanted to have a business. And if I wanted to do something else, I wanted a business based on that.
That's
like,
incredible.
I want to be a bus driver, but I don't want to drive a bus. I want to have a business of buses so then I can drive a bus.
Okay.
Everything had to go around the
We're
business.
going to come back to your personal story. Okay, Katie.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Katie, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? How did you get to Colorado Springs? Like, just share from growing up to here.
Yeah, so I'm from Arizona. I was born in California, but I left there when I was young enough to say I'm from Arizona at this point. Yeah, I'm from Arizona. I moved to Colorado initially in 2008 for a couple of years with my now husband, Kyle.
Awesome. Hey, Kyle.
And so he came out here and actually started some dispensary, and now it's the Green Source. There's 6 of them here in the Springs, so he sold that in 2021.
Does he regret selling that?
He regrets selling at the time he sold it. Yes, he could have made a lot more money if 2020 would have happened a little sooner.
Right. Yeah.
But he sold it in 2015, and then they hired him back as a CSO, Chief Strategic Officer, to manage until the full merger was completed, which is now the Green Source.
Yeah.
Which is the Doyant International, but to the Springs is the Green Source. So I moved out here for him, and we've been married and have 3 babies. And yeah, I worked for Human Interest when COVID hit.
Yeah, that's how we met.
And we met through Human Interest, and I worked for them for about 4 years.
And you're incredible at that, by the way. They were very blessed to have you.
Thank you. So yeah, I just did, relationship marketing there, built the footprint in Colorado for Human Interest.
You killed it for them. I mean,
for those who don't know Human
seriously.
Interest, it's a 401k provider.
She's saying this for free, by the way.
Yeah,
she doesn't work for them anymore. But
they're a 401k provider that uses technology to make it and integrates with payroll to make it easy for small businesses to offer a retirement benefit without having to do the management part of it. So it's supposed to be very automated and seamless. Everything would integrate. So you didn't have to really go the extra steps for a small business and pay the extra price to manage it. So it was great.
So how did you end up in Arizona? Did your parents?
And my whole family's from Arizona.
Oh, okay. So the whole.
My dad moved with my sister out there, and
where was your mom in all this?
She was in California, but she was very sick. So my parents had separated.
Okay.
My dad had taken us because of my mom's sickness. My mom passed from cancer.
I'm sorry.
Cancer, yes. So she passed when I was younger.
How
old
were you?
I was 19.
Oh,
my
that's rough.
brother was 17, and so it was hard.
Yeah.
And my parents were separated at the time. My dad was already saying, my dad actually was with my mom's hospice nurse, but that was a really interesting story. That's a whole nother time. That's like a talk show. Style, but so that's been.
So you were how old when you moved to Arizona?
I moved to Arizona when I was almost 10 years old, so I was pretty young.
Oh, so you missed 8 years of your mom's life.
Yes.
Did you get to go back and see her in between?
I got to see my mother for the last year and a half before she passed away.
Oh, good.
Because we brought her to Arizona to live with my friend's grandfather.
Yeah.
And my brother lived there too, so he took care of my mom as she was passing away. But she was not in a good. She had lung cancer, and then she also had like hepatitis C. So between the two, it was just her body, and then it just didn't do real well for her. So that was hard, and we were really, really close. So I'm shocked I'm not getting emotional right now, and I'm staying focused through this. But
well, your story is what others need to hear. I lost my mom to cancer, and I'm sorry. It is rough.
Cancer is one of the hardest things.
It is.
No matter where it is in that person's body, it's just it takes people too soon.
Yeah.
Some people are lucky to have it removed and continue to be in remission.
That's right.
My mother did have that opportunity for that year and a half.
Okay.
So she was in remission. She was at stage 3, went into remission. She was in remission for 9 months. It came back stage 4, and she passed away within 6 months after that.
Wow.
It was hard because it was December 21st, so right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And the last voicemail I got from her was 4 days prior, and she said, Katie, if it's me, it's your mom. If you're watching TV, go to ABC right now. There's a show. It's a cappella. You may not know what a cappella means, but Kyle will. Ask him. It's where they use their voices to sound like instruments.
Oh.
And that was the last voicemail she left me, and I still have that today.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Did she like to sing?
She liked to. She wasn't great at it, but she loved to sing.
Yeah. Aw.
And I inherited that from her. I'm not a good singer, but I love to sing.
I'm the same way. I'm more in the shower. Well, you know,
I don't care. I'll sing anywhere. It doesn't mean I'm good at it.
Oh, I don't. I host the quarterly Business Free karaoke event in the Springs, but I don't sing when I'm there. And Frank just razzes me about it, and so does John. But that's okay.
You know what? It's the confidence that, I don't really do the karaoke thing. I don't go and sing there. I will sing in the car. I don't care who's in there.
Yeah, me too. I sing to my family all the time.
My family and my close friends. Like, I would never go out publicly and do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to show off my terrible voice, but I'm not embarrassed if you're ever close and you're in my vicinity of my car and it happens to be good music or Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Or Sumini Houston
Heck
comes
yeah.
on. I'm belting. I'm belting. You know?
I love that.
As long as it's up a little higher than my voice, we're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so Marcos, a little bit about your personal story. So unpack, you're born in Spain. Tell us Spain until now, man, on your life.
Yeah, so pretty much right after I was born, like around 1 year old, my dad got moved to Mexico. They didn't really give him a choice. They said, hey, you're going to go take this role in Mexico.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, what if I don't? We're like, okay, well, we fire you. So we had to go to Mexico. So I lived there for the first 7 years of my life.
So you were a baby.
Second 6, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved there when I was 1, lived there until I was 7, and then we moved here for a little bit.
To Colorado Springs?
Yeah, and then went back to Spain.
Oh, did he have a job here? Is that,
no, so my dad
that's
actually
random.
stayed.
Like
my
from
dad
Mexico.
stayed in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And then my mom got married. We moved up here, and then I went back to Spain with her, and then we came back here, and we've been here since.
So she's local here as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
2 step siblings. Yeah.
Awesome.
Other than that,
how long have you been here in the Springs?
Since 2014. So
Uh-huh.
I'm starting to learn English. It's
Well, they teach you though in Mexico, and right? Don't they?
I came here not speaking
Anything.
any English.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was rough.
Oh,
yeah, no, it was.
That must have been hard.
It was
Because you were in 2nd grade at that time. Yeah. Wow.
No, it was frustrating, but after 3 months or so, you become fluent.
Yeah.
I think that's.
You sound great.
Thank you.
How was that? Like overcoming that challenge?
It's frustrating because it's a constant. Yeah, I can't communicate what I need, and then they also don't get it, and then people start assuming things. It's like, no, you assumed in this direction where I meant something here.
Yeah.
So it gets frustrating for a bit, but yeah, about at 6 months, you're pretty much perfect. You say exactly what you need to say, and it gets much easier. But yeah, at first it's frustrating because it's like, nope, that's not at all what I mean, and I have no way to tell you exactly that.
And what high school did you graduate from?
I graduated from Destinations Career Academy, so it's an online high school focused on business. I went there just so I would have time to work on my business, and I don't do well.
They have such
school.
a thing?
Yeah, they gave me credit for just working on my business. Any courses that I wanted to take outside of school, like from universities, they would fund as well. Best school ever.
I've never heard this.
It was incredible because I do terrible in school because, okay, I already have my dream job. Why do I need to learn about Shakespeare?
Yeah.
So they did, okay, well, show us what you're doing, and if it is up to the level that we need it to be, we'll give you credit for it.
Incredible.
So, yeah, it was amazing with them, and they were good. Anything I needed, they were there.
So you started, like, as a freshman?
No, I moved there for my junior year and then part of my senior year because I was able to graduate early with everything I was doing. But, yeah, no, the previous school I went to, I did horrible. It was
It wasn't you.
Terrible. Yeah.
I love that though.
And then
that
I
you
said,
found
no,
out that it wasn't
I'm
you.
done. Yeah, I
and
said, no, I'm leaving.
How did you find the online that business?
I just looked online. I told her, hey, I'm done with this school. And she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. So she said, all right, find something.
Yeah.
And I found them, and they were incredible.
What is it called?
Destinations Career Academy of Colorado. Yeah, they're really good. And like all the staff there are the most talented across any school I've seen.
Incredible. Wow. Okay, Katie.
Yeah, that's
I've got to ask you the next question.
Mm-hmm.
So you have grown and evolved in the city. Like a lot of people know you. You are just amazing, and we all love you.
Thank you.
So now you we're doing two jobs, right? You're trailblazing the ductwork job. Your husband trying to balance that and doing human interest and all the things. And now you've been doing this full time for how many months?
So I left human interest in April. Full time as the operations manager and technician with the Colorado Duck Doctors, and we have 4 full-time technicians.
So my question to you is, what has been your biggest challenge in doing that?
In leaving?
No, in the business, doing the business full time with your husband.
Working with your spouse can be a challenge.
Yes.
Because you have to treat all employees equal.
Yes.
And he's an employee, so it's interesting, about, time management of everybody is important. But I think when you have a business and you're not just a solopreneur and you have other staff like I do, the hardest piece is, I would honestly be, it's managing people, because they are your greatest asset and your biggest liability, and learning how to communicate with different personalities.
Yeah, they've got feelings.
Yes,
right.
They do. And so I have to know how to communicate one versus the other, but also treat them the same.
And the training and development too, right?
Oh, big on the training and development piece.
Is that what you cover as well?
That's why I'm out in the field as well.
Okay.
And we walk them through, even when I hire, I do on the job hiring interviews. Mm-hmm. So I'll get a job, I'll keep them on. Are you actually able to use a drill? If you don't, I walk them through how to physically use a drill, how to use a rotary brush, how to use certain air whips, what the difference is of air compressor hoses, and the PSI levels that are needed to go how far into the ductwork. So I teach them all this, and and same with my husband is, it's like you have to also teach them if I'm not there. Mm-hmm. Even if you assume they know, always teach them anyways, right? Because
show them and
they may not ask the question because they might be embarrassed.
Yeah.
But that's the whole part about training, is you never assume, always offer the advice, offer the training.
The education.
Always. And then that's been my biggest piece is, okay, I thought we talked about that, but maybe I didn't train you on that.
Yeah.
Adding this to my checklist of what to do better next time.
That's
so
good.
It's been about understanding the operational procedures when it comes to how to best train my guys, how to best create checklists for them, to give them the most tools to be successful out in the field on their own, right? Because I want them to stay with me for a long time. I'm not trying to lose an employee because they don't feel like they got enough training.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like they can troubleshoot without me. But in order to do that, I have to give them all the necessary tools, and not just the physical tools, but the mental tools to complete tasks and jobs. Things that might come up like, oh, you disconnected a dryer. Why did the water just flood all over the floor?
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely a clog in the dryer duct if that's the case.
Right.
But like things to check for, because things come up that you don't think to train on. Then all of a sudden I get a call and maybe I wasn't available, and they're like, I don't know what just happened, that I disconnected a dryer and water dumped all over the floor. Is this normal? No, it's only normal if it's completely clogged. None of that moisture is able to come out of the dryer through the air that's needed, so it literally stays in there and it drops. It can also kill the dryer.
Yeah.
So it's just educational pieces. So it's a learning curve for me that feels like it's natural when I'm out in the field, that I'm like, oh, I should mark this as a training opportunity.
Right.
I should include that.
Yes.
So it's just those pieces, because if you can't teach work ethic, but if I could teach you to do the job to the best of your ability, you're going to feel more valued, and you're going to feel more like you're confident to complete this job on your own. Because if you don't get enough training, you're just like, either you're gonna try to wing it yourself, but then you're gonna get overwhelmed if something occurs and it's not your fault, because you're like, well, I never got training on it. I never want my team to say that, and I think that's what I really focus on, is how to make sure you're the best of the best of the best,
Yeah.
so that the clients love you and that we're not going back out to the job again second time.
So with you, what are you doing in business that has been crazy good that you're pushing out?
Yeah, recently that we started negotiating quite a few deals with vendors for materials. Got 2 of my clients more than 33% off on all of their flooring supplies with a specific vendor. And yeah, I mean, for them, it's ridiculous being able to do that, especially in their industry. They're both restoration companies. So all your revenue is pretty much just coming from that insurance payout. And there's not much more. You can't say, hey, we're going to charge you a little bit more for this. It's whatever the insurance decides and they see fit, that's what you get paid. So for them, it's huge. When they can't change the revenue that comes in, we'll change those expenses for them quite a bit. So it's been absolutely huge for them. And the second they see those numbers, they're like, I want it. Where did I sign?
That's so great. I love that.
Yeah, that's been huge, especially because it's so easy with the leverage we bring. We say, hey, we have 2, 3, 4. We've even brought in other businesses. Hey, you're not a client of ours, but we're bringing you in to get you this discount. We come in with 5 businesses. We say, hey, they're not using you right now, but here's 5 businesses with all of their figures. This is how much money they could bring to you. We just need them to get a discount in return. Every time the vendor is absolutely in on it.
That's
it's just
so great. So you're finding the vendors, holding the conversations, bartering with them.
Yeah, and then my client doesn't pay me anything until they see those savings.
That's amazing.
So I go in, I get this person more money, I get my client more money, I get myself money, and nobody has to put anything down to start.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just it's really easy leverage that I have on everyone, and it just helps every person involved. So.
Wow. Okay.
I love that.
Katie, what is your big, hairy, audacious goal for 2025 with your company?
So this is it's premature right now.
Make it big though. Like I'm talking big for 2025.
This is what's really hard, is right? Because in reality, I've come in full force in April.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I've only had 2 other workers. Like it was smaller. It was part time.
Yeah.
It wasn't as full time as it is now. So I want to give an audacious number, but I'm actually working on that right now with my bookkeeper and my accountant. So I have to say to be continued, because I don't have that until probably the middle of this month.
Okay.
I
Good.
wish I could,
But
I
good
don't.
for you
Yeah.
that you're working with a team on doing it.
I am.
Frank and I are doing that soon. December 18th is our big, hairy, audacious goal achieving day that we've
For
carved out
2025,
hours for 2025. So that's awesome. Kudos to
working
you
on
that
that.
you're on that. What's yours?
Maintaining the average. So the average that we save a business right now is about 20% of their total revenue is the amount of expenses that we can reduce. We want to keep that average that way. It's pretty tricky to keep that significant of a figure in savings across every client, but that's something that I'm going to focus on, is keeping it at that level and not letting anyone drop below that 20% of their total revenue saved.
Okay. And are you just staying in state, or is your goals to go international
Currently
on this?
just in the state for this next year.
Okay.
As we expand into more industries yet, because the restaurant business is really good for this type of business, mine. So right now is let's hammer out the trades really, really well, and then we'll move on to restaurants when it's fit, and then expand.
Okay. Right on. So are you going to launch into restaurants this year?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
Because it's very complex.
Are you waiting till you reach a certain numbers with the trades, and then you...
Once I can get someone hired to do the trades, it'll be good. Kind of like Katie said, there's a lot of things that you just don't see until it happens.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
really difficult to train.
entrepreneurship, right?
So I'd much rather have that experience myself rather than putting an employee in the trades and say, hey, figure it out, and they see something that I haven't even seen.
Wow.
So I want to see it first, let them know, and then, okay, now that I kind of know everything that can happen, here you go, and then I go on to the next industry and kind of just going like that in a cycle.
That's exciting. All right, so our dear Frank is not here. He loves to read this quote. It's a Robert Frost quote. So, Katie, I'm going to do this with you. Ready? So the Robert Frost quote says, "I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. What is the road less traveled that you have taken sometime in your life, if you can share that?
That's made a big difference. A road less traveled. Wow, this is a great question. I mean, it really makes you think about all things.
Yeah, it could be personal business.
I know. I'm just trying to think about the road less traveled. Oh man. Gosh, can I ask? Can you just take this over to Marcos while I can think about
Yes.
this? Yes.
Okay. Marcos, tell us about a hard knock time, which means, are you familiar with the movie Annie?
Yeah.
So you know how she sings the hard knock life? Okay. Tell us a time in your life that you experienced that was rough.
I think at all moments in a business, I don't think that as the business scales or changes, you're never, once you solve an issue, I don't think it just goes away. Now it turns into a bigger issue. You know, if you have $1 million company, you turn it into a $5 million company. Now that $1 million issue is a $5 million issue. Mm-hmm. So I just think it changes. I think it's always tough with a business, but that's just how it is.
So for you,
I would say, yeah.
Have you ever experienced anything in your life that was really tough to overcome?
Yeah, we had quite a few credit card frauds in the for the clothing business, where a bunch of fraudulent credit cards were making very large orders at a pace that we weren't able to stop them in time. So we were down probably about, at the time, it was the best season ever that we had in terms of that sales volume. But because of all the chargebacks from the bank, and we had no system to check, hey, is this suspicious or whatever. So we shipped everything out, and then the bank's like, hey, this is fraud right here. So we're going to take that money back, plus the fee that they add onto it. So yeah, we took a huge loss in that Black Friday sale, just out of nowhere to me. So from there, it's like, okay, we have to put in a system that checks all the IP addresses with the postal codes of the cards, everything, all the how they purchased, if it looked suspicious, all of that. So yeah, that was probably the toughest point. But again, I think it's just like that's something that happens in business. So it's just, okay, what's the other issue now that we'll go into? And it's just inevitable. There's issues that happen, and that's just business. So
I bet your current business, you're very tight on your process with credit card processing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we're watching everything.
Yeah, that's nice. So are you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
So when I think about, again, like the road less traveled that I'm grateful for, it could just be knowing in general throughout my whole life is knowing what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are, and playing towards my strengths to stay on the stronger road versus narrowing down that path that it's going to take it longer to figure out. Like, I outsource quite a bit. I've learned the benefit of outsourcing.
Oh, yeah. And
I am an advocate, like outsourcing things that I am not great at.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend 27 hours doing bookkeeping, like whenever. Like, there's things that you learn, and I've never been a math person in general. Like, I can do admin. I don't like admin, but I can do admin. Yeah. I don't want to do any books, though, bookkeeping in general in life. So I've, even in AdCore Solutions, I've never done my books there. I've recently taken on them temporarily, short term, with, I just took them back from an accountant because I'm switching accountants. I'm not happy with my old one. Yeah. But that's, I guess, the biggest piece is, as a person in general and as a business owner, is you're going to play towards your strengths.
Yes.
And I know we wear many hats. There's many hats I wear even now that I wish I could afford to outsource. Yes. But I outsource some things that I know are going to be better for myself, for my mental health. Yeah. Which is important.
And the business.
And for the business. Yeah. That's the biggest piece. But my mental health is so important, because if I'm going to start a business, I'm starting it because I know where I'm going to thrive and where this business is going to do well. And the things that I cannot do, I need to be able to have the right team behind me and friends and partners that I can outsource to. So I guess that would be my biggest piece in life in general. Yeah. Right? I mean, if it comes to school, I knew I was good at science, terrible at math. Like social studies, okay. But like language arts, but science was always my thing.
Yes.
And I've always been good in that field. And so I bring in that piece into air quality because I know he does a lot of things about sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
He also does with WOOP. He's just really unique on the type of things that he does on the environmental side.
Right.
But for us, I wanted to bring a different concept to at least Colorado duck doctors. Is our whole slogan is like, we have your prescription for cleaner air. So we're not just going.
I love that. We have your prescription for cleaner air. That's so cool.
Because we're educating.
Yes.
Hey, we're in your home. Yeah, we're cleaning your ducts. But why did you want your ducts cleaned in the first place?
Yeah.
Oh, I see a lot of dust. Well, that's okay. We can address that.
Mm-hmm.
But then it comes down to, well, my kids have bad allergies. Well, maybe it could come down to household cleaning products. So we are starting blogs. Like I'm doing some blogs myself, and I'm pulling information from the EPA, from NADCA, from the American Lung Association, on different things that they're mentioning about household cleaning products, to even the type of furniture and clothes you have. Fabrics can affect people's allergies and their sicknesses in their homes.
Yeah.
So we're taking it further than just our services. It's about education, and I think that's really big for me on kind of what we do, and that's where my strengths are. So I would like to stay there and pass out all those other longer roads to someone else that can handle it and manage it. That's better for them.
So entrepreneurship, we all know that it's so easy to spiral down and become the victim mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you come to that? Because I talk to business owners all the time, and that's their number one thing is they think they can do all of it. They're going to conquer the world, and then at the end of the day, whether it be a year in, 2 years in, 5 years in, they're going to burn out and just realize that they can't handle it. And that's where you're tapped into, oh my gosh, I'm really good at this and I'm not good at that. How did you get to a place like that? Like, tell our listeners, how did you do that? How did you overcome that?
Well, a lot of entrepreneurs started out because they had worked for somebody else and they got burnt out.
Right. Yes.
You got burnt out doing one thing, and regardless if you're good at it or not, you got burnt out. Or you were overwhelmed trying to keep up with the amount of stress to hit a quota. Being a business owner, you have those same stresses, but it's now just not on one thing. It's on many things.
Mm-hmm.
But you can juggle certain things as a business owner that you feel comfortable handling.
Yeah.
And then things you don't. You either don't do it, and you avoid, and you just hope that nothing happens.
Yeah.
Department of Labor, Department of Revenue doesn't come after you. You just leaving things alone, wishing for the best. Or you either learn to do it, or you learn to outsource it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was after I left Human Interest and starting into this, I tried to be that person that took all of it on.
Yeah, you did.
And I did. And I said, okay, this is not gonna work. Like I'm good at finding efficiencies, like processes and procedures. I can manage a process and procedure piece. I feel like I can do that. I can say, this is what it takes for you
being really
to get
good
from
at that.
A to point B. I can get you from here to here.
Yeah.
But these other pieces, like, I don't know. I don't have time to answer all the calls and do all these type of things I'd love to, but how do I train you to be the best you can at the job?
Yeah, and thrive
if I have to also answer phones, if I have to also schedule and dispatch. So I had to find a company that can help me do that.
Yeah.
Then I tried different systems, like, you have ServiceTitan, you have ServiceTitan, you have JobRave, all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
You figure out what the right software is for your trades business, and I really ended up thriving with Jobber. I also talked to other business owners about different things that worked for them, but that's how I guess differentiate for me is taking on what I felt like I could do that without causing me stress.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I started feeling anxiety or stress, or I was spending way too long on something that I'm like, this should only take someone that's actually good at this 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
am I spending 3 hours? I need to find someone that's good at this, that can do this in 15, 20 minutes. Because what is my time worth in those 3 hours?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I had to break it down to that, because I'm still not receiving a paycheck, right? And in a little over the 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Is because I put everything into the business. But how do I become more efficient, to his point, like efficiencies?
Yes.
But for myself, it's about, right now, it's about reducing my time, because time is money. How do I increase the workflow for my employees? How do I still get inbound calls and leads coming in, but it's knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. So the best thing I could say is create checklists of all your process and procedures.
Yep.
From how you get leads, how those leads are converted, to how you train your employees, how you make them feel valued, how you do employee recognition
Yeah.
and rewards.
Yeah.
Because how do you retain them? I think that's
Retention.
That's number 2.
Huge.
I feel like, and it's
Yeah.
not always about all the things, but it's about how you feel valued. So like I created through Google
Seen,
Forms,
heard, all the things.
all the things.
Yeah.
I create Google Forms, and when they first got hired, I said it was like 7 or 8 questions about recognition, like from 1 to 10, how is this important to you? 1 to 10, do you like to be recognized verbally or publicly
That's
or
so
privately?
wise.
Because some people that are like, I don't like public, praise.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, it depends. Some people say, I like it. I want to know how you like to be noticed in the business so that I know how to treat you and shout you out. Or
That's
maybe
so
you don't want to be
great.
shout out. So I think that's a big piece.
Yeah.
Is those two, and then I just create different processes. So I have like 8
I
or
love
9,
that.
and I divided them all. And I said, this is what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. This is what I feel like I can manage. This stuff I need to find another company.
Yeah.
Because I'm spending 8 hours here.
Yeah.
Why am I spending 8 hours there?
Total waste.
Yeah. This money, this area is nothing. to me.
Yeah.
So take what I choose that I feel like I'm worth hourly, whatever
Yes.
that may be for anybody.
Yes.
What you feel like you are worth,
Yes.
and divide that between your entire process and procedures from start to the very end. Break it up and say this is where you want to spend your time, and that's what your time's worth. And then take the time that you would have spent and outsource that. Take that same money and put it towards somebody else that can do it in a shorter time.
Yes.
It might even cost you less money, and you have less stress. And that's how I did it.
All right, you guys, you heard it from Katie Wendland. I mean, that is wisdom. That's mic drop wisdom right there. I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter what type of business you have. People can implement that. I'm even personally doing that on my resilience platform too for 2025 because it's, you can only work for free for so long, and then you're like, no, seriously, like where's the money coming from? Yeah, I just love that.
Where's it coming from? What are you worth?
Yes. Okay, our time is almost up. So Marcos, I'm going to start with you. Our mission, Frank and I, our whole mission on the Be Encouraged show is to infuse hope and encouragement throughout the whole world. So I would like you to take a moment and look into the camera and encourage our listeners, and then tell them how to reach you.
How to encourage people? I'm bad at that.
You are the best. You are so good at that.
Well, my way is that business is super challenging, but that is a part of it. Obviously it's going to be stressful. You have to take on those 20 different jobs that you have to do, but that's the part of business. You take on all of that so that you can choose how you do things. And so you can do exactly what your goals are. So yeah, it is stressful, but that is a part of it. And that's just something that, it's not an issue that is stressful. It just makes sense. Obviously it's going to be like that because there's a lot on your plate, but that's the cool part is that you can handle all that stuff and that you do that at the end of the day.
Awesome.
And then,
how do they reach you?
Yeah, just going to whoopenvironmental.com. As you see, there's no H in me, and there's also no H in the Whoop, so don't put that in. I thought it would be really easy to spell, and then everybody puts an H in there. So.
WOOP.
Yeah, no H, no H.
Well, whenever, it's so funny, thank you for that. Whenever I do my comments on socials, I do with an H. Whoop whoop, it's a thing, so yeah. All right, Katie, encourage the world, darling, and then tell them how to reach you.
So, ideally, business is hard, like I said, but we get into it because it's hard and you can manage it. It's something you're doing to grow for yourself and for your family and for your future. But don't give up, right? Really take time to write down those processes and procedures. Remind yourself why you got into what you're doing, into the business, and what you're good at, and really push towards your strengths. And then find the right partners around you that are going to help you thrive to be the best you and the best business you can be. That's what you really need to do, is have the right referral partners, right type of connectors, the right type of friends, because you surround yourself with the people that you want to be like, and that's also the people that you got to consider. They know people that they can connect you with that could do marketing or merchant or bookkeeping or business consulting. I mean, from all these things, it's about being part of the right group in general. And I encourage you to take time to write down who your support group is, how they're helping you grow your business and be better every day at your business. If you don't have those, you need to find them.
Yes.
And I am Katie with Colorado Duct Doctors, dryer vent and air duct cleaning provider, and you could reach us by calling us at 719-299-2988. Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, or Saturdays, 9 to 4. We are closed Sundays. Or you can go to our website at Colorado Duct Doctors, spelled out all the way, .com. So coloradoductdoctors.com.
Awesome.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
me.
Katie. This has
Thanks,
been great. All right. So before we wrap up, let's spotlight our sponsors once more. Westco Insurance, Miss Karen Butcher loves helping people save and get the best service ever. So contact her through our website at beencouraged.net. And Planet Duct, Brandon Kirk and his team offer astronomical air duct cleaning with the most powerful vacuum trucks in Colorado, stronger than the vacuum of space. And more people are seeing the benefits of sponsorship with us. We're now up to 25 sponsors within only 14 months. So visit us at beencouraged.net to become a sponsor and get your name out there to our growing audience. Our platinum sponsor has seen an aggressive 900% growth in their business in just 7 months. So like and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn to join us on our journey to extend hope and encouragement and help people realize their potential through networking, collaboration, and community involvement. And remember, if you want to join us internationally, go to our website and select International via Instagram to join us live from anywhere in the world. And that is a wrap for show 2. Thank you again for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.